Hello everyone, and welcome to the Stories of War and Famine channel. Today, we delve into stories that shine a light on the darkest corners of human history. Stories of fates that, against all odds, were not broken by misfortune. We often hear about the staggering numbers, the grand strategies, and the geopolitical shifts that define wars and famines. But within those immense tragedies lie millions of individual stories of survival, resilience, and an unyielding will to live. These are the accounts of ordinary people thrust into extraordinary circumstances, who faced the unimaginable and emerged not just alive, but with their spirits intact. Their experiences teach us a profound lesson, that even when stripped of everything, homes, possessions, and loved ones, the human spirit can endure. It's a testament to our capacity for hope, our instinct for community, and our incredible ability to adapt. What allows one person to persevere while another succumbs to despair? Is it luck, faith, sheer stubbornness, or something else entirely? Throughout history, from the trenches of World War I to the Dust Bowls of the 1930s, from the sieges of ancient cities to modern-day refugee crises, we find these remarkable tales. One such story is that of a young woman who survived the Holodomor in Ukraine. Her name was Maria. Her village was decimated by the man-made famine. She watched as her neighbors and even family members wasted away. Food became an obsession, a ghost that haunted every waking moment. Yet Maria and her mother found ways to survive. They foraged for anything edible in the frozen fields, roots, bark, and weeds that others overlooked. They learned to identify plants that could offer the slightest bit of sustenance. Every day was a battle against gnawing hunger and the profound, soul-crushing despair that surrounded them. Maria recalled how her mother would tell her stories at night, tales of a future where bread was plentiful and laughter filled the air. These stories were more than just distractions. They were a lifeline. They were an act of defiance against a regime that sought to crush their bodies and their spirits. Her mother's hope became her hope. They shared their meager findings with a trusted neighbor, forming a small, secret alliance of survival. This bond, this shared humanity, in the face of utter dehumanization, was as vital as the food they managed to find. Maria survived, and she carried the memory of her mother's strength with her for the rest of her life, a powerful reminder that hope can be a form of resistance. Now, let's travel across the world and a few decades forward to the killing fields of Cambodia. Here, under the brutal Khmer Rouge regime, education was a death sentence. Cities were emptied and an entire population was forced into agricultural labor camps. In this environment of paranoia and extreme violence, a former teacher named Aaron found himself hiding his identity. He knew that his background as an intellectual would mean certain execution. He worked silently in the rice paddies, his body growing weaker day by day, but his mind remained sharp. At night, in secret, Aaron began to teach a small group of children. He couldn't use books or paper. Instead, he drew letters in the dirt with a stick. He taught them math by counting pebbles. He told them stories from history and literature, whispering the tales so the guards wouldn't hear. It was an incredibly dangerous act. If discovered, he and the children would have been killed instantly. But Aaron believed that preserving knowledge, preserving the minds of the next generation, was a duty that transcended his own fear. He was saving their future, giving them a tool that the regime could never take away: the power of thought. Several of his students survived the genocide, carrying with them the lessons learned in secret. A testament to a teacher who risked everything for the light of education. These stories aren't about superhuman strength. They're about the power of small, consistent acts of courage and hope. It's the mother telling a story, the teacher scratching letters in the dirt, the neighbor sharing a hidden potato. These acts created ripples of hope that help people navigate an ocean of despair. They show us that resilience isn't just about bouncing back. It's about holding on to your humanity when the world is trying to strip it away. It's about finding meaning and purpose even in the midst of suffering. Consider the siege of Leningrad during World War II. a brutal blockade that lasted for almost 900 days. The city was cut off from all supplies. Starvation and freezing temperatures claimed over 1 million civilian lives. In the middle of this horror, a group of botanists at the Vavilov Institute of Plant Industry faced a unique and agonizing dilemma. The institute housed the world's largest collection of seeds and plant specimens, a priceless bank of agricultural diversity. As people starved in the streets outside, these scientists were guarding tons of edible material. They had rice, wheat, corn, beans, and potatoes, all in the form of seeds for future planting. Yet not one of them touched the collection. They understood that their personal survival was temporary, but the seed bank was the key to the future of agriculture for their country and possibly the world. They were protecting the future of food itself. One by one, the scientists began to starve to death at their posts, surrounded by food they refused to eat. Their sacrifice was a profound act of foresight and dedication. They chose to protect a future they would never see, ensuring that when the war ended, the nation would have the resources to rebuild and feed its people. Their fate was tragic, but their legacy is a powerful story of duty and vision that remains unbroken. These accounts are not meant to romanticize suffering. The pain, the loss, and the trauma are real and devastating. But by studying these stories, we honor the victims and survivors, and we learn something vital about ourselves. We learn that connection, purpose, and hope are not luxuries. They are essential tools for survival. They are the invisible armor that protects the human spirit. The will to live is often intertwined with the will to help others, to preserve something beautiful, or to simply pass on a story. In every major conflict or famine, similar stories emerge. Stories of musicians playing in besieged cities, of artists painting in concentration camps, of poets writing on scraps of paper. These creative acts were not frivolous. They were a way of asserting life and beauty in the face of death and destruction. They were a declaration that while their bodies could be imprisoned or starved, their souls remained free. This creative spirit is a powerful form of resilience, a way to process trauma and maintain a sense of self. So, as we close this episode, let's carry these stories with us. Let them be a reminder of the incredible strength that lies within ordinary people. Let them inspire us to appreciate the peace and security we might take for granted, and to cultivate our own resilience, our own connections, and our own sense of purpose. Because we never know when we might need to draw on that inner strength. The human spirit, when nurtured by hope and community, is remarkably hard to break. Thank you for joining us on Stories of War and Famine. If these stories moved you, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us continue to bring these important histories to light. We'll see you in the next video.